She so eloquently referred to. Although my great-grandparents had PhDs, so thank you for, putting me in that category as well as most of the people in this room. Thank you very much. My question to you is, when you say just drop nukes and daisy cutters and all this bullshit on people who are on this planet, human beings, what makes you different? What differentiates you from ISIS and Daesh and Wahhabism and all this stuff? Anything in the name of Jesus Christ and wear that cross around your neck. How dare you? Why are you here?
This country, your culture's so hot.
By the Soviets, that's why, because my grandfather was a political science PhD from Indiana University who came to this country for an education, and when he went back, he was assassinated. That's why.
That sounds like a really rotten culture, one that would assassinate a Soviet Union.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
We don't assassinate our political science PhDs, so I would say right there we got a better culture.
She said her family was assassinated in the Soviet Union. I think we all agree we have a better culture. Okay?
Well, good. Let's all agree that the Soviet Union is a peasant culture then.
I'm not
You getting on that?
The Soviets invaded Afghanistan, get history correctly, okay? They invaded Afghanistan, they destroyed
Okay, so why are you living in Afghanistan if it's such a great peasant culture?
Because there's another culture there still fucking killing people, that's why.
That's not a good culture.
Hey, you didn't answer the
I don't know if
question.
you...
So it's a nice effort at deflection, but don't...
What makes you different
Because
from those extremists? When
this
you're
is just a silly point about war. And look, if there's a point to going to war, there's a point to going to war. I'm saying if there is a point to going to war, I don't want any Americans dying for a regime change when you are going to have a President Obama come in and reverse the victory of that war. The question is whether it's worth going to war. I happen to think it is, but it's going to be a long conversation. The point is, apparently you do come from a peasant culture if you are here.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I think you call me brown. I came from Turkey.
So why aren't you there?
Because I love this country.
You come to this country?
I love this country. That doesn't mean I hate my former country. That means I love this country. You know why? Because it isn't a Christian nation. It isn't a nation just for white people. Because I believe in the First Amendment. Because I believe in what America stands for. Unlike you.
Well, it is a Christian nation. It's not a country just for white people, but it was a country created by white people. And the only way to the only way we're going to prevent any portions of the globe from not entirely becoming a place where a political science PhD will be assassinated and women are at risk for female genital mutilation and honor killings is if we stop those cultures from coming here. The only way to stop mass migrations and refugees is for the entire world to be no different from any other place. And we'll all be living in Afghanistan, and who's going to suffer the most? The poor, the weak, women, children, plants, animals, and any victims of earthquakes, tsunamis, or Nazis. Without America out there, you just have a whole
Coulter is here. The always controversial conservative author is out with a brand new book. She rails against liberals for always playing the victim game. She says the Democrats and liberals in the mainstream media are trying to destroy America. She's also claiming that after we canceled her appearance here yesterday, that we were banning her for life from the Today Show. So it's going to be fun talking to her in just a couple of minutes when Ann Coulter joins us live.
All right, I'm getting out of here. No.
Her latest book is Guilty: Liberal Victims and Their Assault on America. Ann, good morning. Nice to have you here.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
I want to talk about Burris in a second, but let me just get to this little controversy. You've been all over the blogs in the last day or so. We canceled your appearance here on Tuesday, and from what I've been reading, you thought you were banned for life from the show. Were you behind that report?
No, I didn't say that. That was from a reliable news report that, by the way, has never had to retract a report on exploding GM trucks. But I do note that, like NBC.
Do you think, though, that much was made of this, and maybe you helped fan the fire here a little bit to make a controversy?
No, I don't think I'd be sitting here now if it hadn't been a headline on Drudge. But let's get to the book, because I do want to talk about the book.
But we've had you on so many times in the past. After every book, you've always been invited back. Why would you all of a sudden be banned?
Why? I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to answer what your motives are. We traded you out for Tony Blair
yesterday. And I think that's a pretty good switch.
Well, you had more than Tony Blair on for 4 hours.
Yeah, right. But you were in your slot where you were supposed to be yesterday morning was Tony Blair.
And Rachel Maddow and various gossip columnists and a bear.
Afterward.
The point is, I was canceled twice, and it wasn't until the Drudge Report ran a headline on its own reporting, and the Drudge Report has never had to retract a report.
You know, the book is called Guilty, Ann Coulter. I'm glad you're back.
Oh, so am I. Thank you.
It's good
nice
to be
see you again.
All right, we are going to, by the way, you're not banned for life, obviously, okay? Your next book comes out.
Thank you. I'm
sure
delighted to hear that.
You'll be sitting right here.
The Simpson verdict was a great thing for America. Please welcome the very controversial Miss Ann Coulter. Ann. All right. Okay, I need you to tell me what you're trying to say in this book. Because we don't know what you're trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is race-mongering has been very bad for America. Liberals use it to promote causes that have nothing to do with blacks and, in fact, harm blacks. And that excellent lead-in you just gave about O.J., I mean, I think that was the moment, having lived near New York City in the 70s and 80s, which was the golden era. It was like Trayvon Martin and Duke lacrosse case every day. With the O.J. verdict, white America said, that's it, the white guilt bank is shut down, and that ended up being the best thing that ever happened to black Americans.
What are you talking about?
I meant that no longer...
This being acquitted was good for who?
Yes, because you had millions of white people watching with the equivalent of what in New York we used to refer to as the Brooklyn juries, who simply would not convict even guilty black criminals, not innocent black criminals.
Hold up, Ms. Coulter. Please stop. Please stop. If you're going to talk about race, at least know what you're talking about. At least know what you're talking about. Well, tell me how much you know about being black.
Well, this isn't about being black.
Well, but you just said, you just made all these statements about how black people feel. Tell me how you know that. Yeah, you did.
This is not a book about black people. It is a book about white liberals. And I do know, and this is a fact, that once for years, Republican policies on crime and welfare, for example, were called racist. When they finally got implemented, after the O.J. verdict, I might add, by crime Giuliani in New York, Reagan and Bush judges overall, tens of thousands of black lives were saved. That is a fact. I don't have to know about being black.
Actually,
but I know
because your facts are just a little shaky. I mean, you're saying that because black people, because liberals are what? Because liberals have abandoned black people now because. What? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't think liberals ever cared about black people. I mean, 5 minutes after the Civil Rights Act of '64, they start calling everything that has nothing to do with black people a civil rights issue.
Wait a second.
Abortion on demand, homeless rights.
So are you saying that liberals don't care about black people? Then are you saying Republicans embrace us in a warm, fuzzy...
Try to. We're not embraced back. But yeah, we tried to.
So wait a minute. So the Southern strategy was a white liberal thing? No, it was a Republican thing.
No.
And also, Newt Gingrich calls President Obama the food stamp president. That's not racist?
Chapter.
Wait a second.
Do you really think that was... Do you believe it was racist for Newt to say that the president is a food stamp president?
Well, he wouldn't say that.
If we could just skip, I'm not a big fan of Newt, so we could just skip that for a second and get to the Southern strategy. Yeah. Because I've specifically disproved it. It's an absolutely liberal folklore. Republicans were winning the South since 1920. It was the outer states of the South. It was Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia.
Voting. What are you talking about? We weren't allowed to vote.
Who was trying to get them to vote? Republicans were.
Yeah,
and the first black congressmen were all Republicans. And the first black governor was a Republican.
You're talking about way back.
That
So
Republican
after-
skin is so different from
Yeah.
No, that is definitely what we're told. But in fact, the Democratic segregationists were all liberal Democrats. It is a lie that they were conservative Democrats.
Everybody was a segregationist, darling. And, you know,
The
basically,
Republicans weren't.
everybody was. White people were. It didn't matter whether they were
Absolutely
Republicans
were
or
not.
not.
Ask you a question.
The first integrationists. Okay, just read chapter 14 in this book. The first Republicans to be elected in the South.
Listen to my grandmother, who was there, who remembers what
Howard
happened.
Baker, an aggressive integrationist, first Republican elected in Tennessee to the Senate. You have Winthrop Rockefeller, first Republican governor in
But you know, I have a
in
question
Arkansas.
about today.
Integration.
Let me ask you something about what's going on now. It seems to
But
me
the Southern strategy is a lie.
It seems to me that voter suppression is happening in areas where black people and Hispanics are, and it really is being promoted by the Republicans, not the Democrats. So in my view, and I have a different one from you, it looks as though the Republicans are really going against blacks, not the liberals.
No, and this
What do
is
you
a
say to
perfect
that?
example. Yes, it is, and it's a perfect example. No, I'll explain why. Of liberals using the label of civil rights to promote a liberal cause they support, i.e. voter fraud. In fact, one of the first states in the Union to pass voter ID bills was Rhode Island, 85% Democratic legislature. And who pushed it? A black Democrat in the House, a black Democrat in the Senate.
That's
a fact.
No, you may pick out Rhode Island, but there are other states where it's completely
Why would
Republican
black
driven.
Democrats be pushing this? Because they had seen
Because they
voter
want the
fraud.
Hispanic vote to go to
Can I
Romney.
ask a general question? Every book that you write is very controversial and shocking, and it's usually an opinion that's disparate with everybody else's.
Right.
Do you just write these books and try to find whatever it is that's going to make everybody say,
Well, do you believe this crap?
The reason, it's an excellent question. The reason I write these books is because I try to correct things that people believe that are just false.
Here's the question
And this is a lot.
This is a question because I was reading a book,
and you're the only one that says it. But
Well, there are a few things. I mean, discovering that we never won the Goldwater states and Republicans didn't win the Dixiecrat states until the Dixiecrats died out.
You keep staying back in the past. You got to come into the present. But this is what I want to say.
That's new to me. The rest of it, other people know.
In reading your book, you know, you keep saying if you would read chapter 14, if you read, you make such divisive comments and incendiary comments and hateful comments at times. It makes people not want to pick up your book and read it. So